Hi friends, continuing to the chapter The Artist of Palkha. My eyes were fixed on her. I could not even blink. I could hear my heartbeats. My body was shaking and I had lost all the control over myself. My duty, as instructed by Nagina, was just watch her. Her act started with her closing her eyes. Gradually, she opened the transparent the things I could see her completely. She moved her hands and planted them on her side. Slowly, very slowly, she moved them upwards to her. I got up early in the morning to watch the sunrise. I simply love watching the sun coming up without a word enlightened the world. Sunrises is the one masterpiece created by nature. It is something I have been doing since my childhood days. I love the red hot ball of a fire coming up slowly while changing its hue all the way till the world wakes up. It is a fantastic job had I have been appointed to do this. I would have done it without a fuss, without a break, without an iota of the doubt. I would have loved to come up every day and tell the world to wake up with my glitter. That is the world's best job. Born and brought up in Falka, a hill town, love of a nature came to me mostly naturally. I was watching the whole episode from my cottage window. Completely immersed in my thoughts, Nagina came from behind and held me tightly. We watched the sunrise together, a massively romantic moment for both of us. I could not stop kissing her forehead. Knock knock. It is Tinu with the tea. I said as I walked towards the door. She took her seat on the sofa and I brought her a tea. As we started sipping tea, she asked, Rana, have you never told me about Raman and Shikata? Tell me something about them. She said while taking another sip of a tea. What would you like to know about them? Whatever you want to tell about them, I just love listening to you. Okay, well, I will start with Sikata. She is currently getting trained in some part of the country. She is very simple, clean-hearted and determined human being. As far as I understand the art of painting, she is incredible painter. As far as I understand the art of painting, her zest and the passion for the painting is simply unsurpassable. Though she doesn't show off her boast about her skills, she is deeply into the painting. Being an Indian girl, it was tough for her to convince her family that her priority was not marriage, but making a name for herself as an artist. She is not against the marriage. She just believes that first she should make a name for herself. She had to face many difficulties when she decided to follow her own path, but she will never gave up. She looks like a simple girl, but inside there is a sort of an fire burning. She is the type of a girl who will never give up. Come what may. She is determined, stubborn, and fast learner. But like every other girl in India, she was torn between her family and work. But in our last meeting, we came to the conclusion that painting should be continued. No matter what I think that if she is blessed with his talent, it is her duty to develop the art. And Raman is one of the hell of a funny guy. With my seriousness and Shika's reserve, he was the one who cracked all the jokes and lighted up the atmosphere. He is a damn intelligent and a quick witted. No matter what the question is, he comes up with a funny answer. But inside this light and a funny character, there is a Superman. He will go to any limit and do anything to make his dreams come true. Though he is not as talkative as me, what he says carries a lot of weight. He can listen intently for hours. He is one hell of a fascinating person. I remember one story he told me. Once a dog bit him, and then ironically the dog went mad, and Sikha and I, laughed like anything until we had tears in our eyes and our stomachs started aching. Funny guy. He was the life of our gang. You know, we are all childhood friends. What's common between all of us is that we have never been interested in studying. School was a horrible burden on us. We somehow managed to pass our exams. Shika was the best among us and she taught us sometimes, mostly one day before the exams, so we somehow managed to complete our school and college. Being a small town, Falkas has one government school and one government college. There is no other option. If you need a better education, you need to leave this town. There is also another reason. All three of us are good friends. I think it is because we share an artistic bent of a mind. We have always been creative. We would live in our own world and had no indications to do the things that normal people do. We were just interested in creating. We hung out a lot, went into the forest as a gang, stole fruits from the farms, jumped from the trees, talked about all sort of things, sitting close to the river and never listened to the society. All we did was to follow our hearts. And what was your parents' reaction to this? Our parents always believed that we would not be able to do anything in our life because we were so bad in our studies. Ever, our teacher had no faith in us, but they didn't see all three had a special talent. I think Indian society is not matured enough to see any special talent in anyone. All it wants is becoming a clerk, sitting in an office, bring back a check, and live a life like a sheep. Most people don't understand that if someone is blessed with some special skill, they need to be motivated to develop it. But again, they don't have the awareness, understanding, and the balls to do this. The person has to recognize it himself and then go full throttle to make his mark. I mean that society will turn the face away when you try to strike out on your own. Society means to say, either you will be like me or I am against you. So it seems at one point that everyone was against us. And then we took a pledge that we would never return to Fulka until we made a name for ourselves. Now we are on our way. Interesting. Nagina came close to me, took my hands in her hands, and asked, what will be the name of your first book? Oh, I haven't thought about it yet. Do you have any idea? Who are the characters in your book? It is based on the life of those who take a different path. Okay, how about the road not taken? Wonderful Nagina, my miracle girl. It is a good name, just fitting with the theme. Thanks, by the way. We are going to see the city today. No, we won't since everybody know me in the city. They would recognize me and my parents would come to know. I would rather not meet them until my book is out. Though we are in touch over the phone, I want to show them my face only when I have earned a name for myself. It is your wish. So, what are we going to do today? Today we will go to the mountain climbing. Are you interested? Wow, that would be an absolute fun. Sion, get ready real fast. This is how our honeymoon continued. We roamed about in the wild among the virgin forests, snow capped mountains, and the meadows. We relished the company of the river and walked along its bank holding hands. Many a time we lost our way, but this was where all the funny lay. It was a great adventure finding our way back. Even if we did not find a way, we are not scared because it was great fun getting lost in forest. When you lose your track either in the forest or in the life, you know you are on the right track, or sooner or later you will come back on one. Often we sat on a huge rock mountains formation for hours but did it under a single word and absorbed all the tranquility that we could. We had no strings attached to sex. We experienced as much as we could. Sometime in the morning, sometime during the afternoons, and usually after the sunset. We were so emotionally lost into each other that our life seems to be more like a spiritual or sacred activity. Yes, sacred. And sometimes we would share our stories. One fine day, she told me that she was actually a fairy who had descended all the way from the heaven to assist me in my task, and that she would go back once I was done with my task. I was scared at the thought of losing her, so I tried not to think about it all. In the meanwhile, the magical ambience of Falka had inspired me again to go back to writing with an revenged energy. I was all charged, eager to write. With Nagina behind me, was anything impossible? After a month, our honeymoon ended, and I was back to my writing desk. One fine day, when I was staring out the window, Nagina came and asked, Rana, you have traveled all over the country. Do you share the story of your journey with me? Nagina, you know everything. I said rectangularly as I was in the middle of a paragraph. See, come on, tell me. I want to see, hear it from your mouth. I love to listen you. Okay, so listen. As I traveled the length and the breadth of the country, the first thing that struck me was that the people are happy with the current lot. Even if they are absolutely poor, they have a genuine smile on their face. It is good. It is great idea. But with no food, social neglect, torn clothes, no roof, no education, and nothing to do, what is the meaning of being happy? It is like you are smiling because you have nothing else to do. Our streets, our railway platforms, footpaths, our city outskirts, they are full of such people. I think they have no idea about their existence. They like animals. It is an absolutely rotten, pathetic state. And I am not going to blame the government. We all are collectively responsible. When I went to the rural area, I found the people who were simple and hard working. but they always carried a bag full of complaints. For everything, they blamed the government. If something happened, they blamed the government. If something didn't happen, they blamed the government. Instead of finding a way out, they wanted the government to do the things from them. I think they should take their life in their own hands. I believe that our government is more helpful than the ruler folks. Secondly, city folks are generally clever, sharp, and innovative, but not sincere, disciplined, and organized. We all are chalks and confusions. Jugats is not going to help our country in any ways. Sincerely will. Thirdly, people our country don't respect the talent. There is no system that would motivate those with the talent. If someone had a talent, beware. The system will either kill you or your talent. So the person with some special talents need to develop an iron will. Whatever success stories I have seen in my country have not happened without the system, not with the system. If somebody succeeds, the person can't give credit to the system. The system was against him. Our system is a great demoralizer. It is all politics, no work. An absolute fuck up piece of a shit. We don't want the smart people. We want sincere ones. Everyone is out to explore everyone else. That is the kind of an picture I get. It is need to be changed. We have been ruled by foreigners for over 1,000 years. That is because we are not courageous enough. Our religion had made us passive and extra tolerant. That is not going to help us anymore. Our country should now focus on instilling hardcore courage in its subject, and then things will settle down. It is a time we were evolved, left the old behind, and took the hold of the new ideas. What I see in that the coming generation is faster, smarter, and together, tougher. I see hope. It is such a beautiful country hijacked by the devils. So true, she cited. For the next 6 months, I wrote without a break. I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. Nagina cooked, cleaned, and did all the household work. She would give me the feedback that was accurate and to the point. Once I gave her a particular chapter, I would be eager to know her opinion. After all, she was an otherworld being. She would sit with me for hours when I would write, watching me writing. She said she would love watching me write. Sometimes, just when I was tired and wanted to take a break, she would ask me to take one. Did she know what was going in my mind? Quite possible. Sometimes, when I did not feel like writing, she would start talking about it so that I could get back to the book and writing. She knew when I needed a break. She knew when I needed to write. She knew what needed to be rewritten. She knew what needed to be deleted. She knew my inside and outside. Sometimes, when I was too exhausted, she would hold my hand and look at me. This simple act cleared my thoughts and my mind went into a peaceful trance. She had all the tools to soothe me, calm me, or charge me. Many a time I would speak and she would type it for me. 4 hours and hours without showing any sign of tiredness. She went on and on and on. Often she would suggest some ideas and they usually fitted. When I wrote for 3 days in a row and fell asleep on my table, she would put me into the bed. She didn't say no to anything. We did not fight even once. She did what I asked and refrained from doing what I asked her not to do. She had become my strength, my inspiration. I had started thinking that I couldn't live without her and that I wanted her to be with me all the time. I loved her more than anything else in the world. Love was in the air, it was everywhere. And after 6 months of her continuous writing, rewriting, editing, and proofreading, my first book was out. The Road Not Taken. I ended my book with these lines. When you decide to take a different path, the path not yet taken, remember that you have decided to stare at death. The world will turn against you. There will be an uncertainty, fear, darkness, solutions, discouragement, and dejections. But since you have been blessed with two legs, you have to keep on moving. There will be a tears, but instead of controlling them, you should cry because it is the only men who cry, weak men crumbles. So make sure you cry a lot and always fix in the back of your mind that there is a light somewhere in the corner. This would give you a fuel to go on and on. Don't believe in anybody except your heart. It is your only true friend in such times. And work like a horse. For hours, no end. Forget yourself. Live through your work. People will be rude and ruthless and will never miss out a chance to humiliate you. But you will also find genuine people out here there to help you. Stay tuned to yourself and miracles will happen and you will win. One fine day, be a light unto yourself. Thus spake Buddha. Raman and Shikha. Throughout the last 4 years, the DSLR had been my constant companion. It has been with me through thin and thin, black and white, all alone in the jungle of Hester. Whenever I was low, my DSLR came to inspire me. When I could not find anybody to talk to, my DSLR talked to me in pictures. I feel like a part of my body now. I call it as Nika and developed a sort of a relationship with it, a purely spiritual one. Ha! I have passed my last 2 years in the jungle, cut off from the people around me. Whenever I missed my family, I would go to the nearby village and call them from my mobile. The jungle of Hastur received no signal, and the tribal was absolutely cut off from the world, as I mentioned before. Even to charge the batteries of my camera, I have to go to this nearby village. I was taught, but I had no other options. No roads, lack of transports, and lack of electricity. Sometimes I would wonder how I would complete my project. I had to eat the tribal food with the tribal family. I was staying with one good things that happened was that in the last 2 years when I was there, I picked up their language. Mostly they would talk about the food, hunting, and the jungles. I lived in a little hut like them and slept on the floor. Initially, it was very difficult for me since the mosquitoes, reptiles, and other little creatures would make it difficult for me to sleep. I could not sleep for the days on end. I wanted to leave, but the pledge with my friends and my love for nature kept me going. The more trouble I faced, the more determined I became until the fire in me became constant. The more the struggle, the better the photography. I kept telling this to myself. I would get up at 5 every morning and go out to the search for subjects in the seemingly endless jungle. Many a time I tried to find a path, but to no avail. I think the jungles of Haster will never end. I went deep into the jungles and found amazing flora, flowers with an astonishing array of the colors, dramatic rock patterns, a plethora of trees, snails, insects, and an infinity variety of birds, almost every kind of animals, rock mountains, and the plants. Such amazing artistry that was wonder to behold. I would roam around in the jungle for the whole day, and sometimes I would not want to come back. In fact, I wouldn't have come back if we were not for food. And the food these tribal cooked was a way better than what we city dwellers eat. I would shoot the whole day and return to the hut satisfied. There was so much left to be photographed. Indeed, nature is immensely vast. In the interior of a jungle, nature was so pristine and virgin. You would wonder whether the nature that you see in the cities is really nature or something else. No, it is not. It is the nature polluted by the city greed and corruptions. It is not the nature at all. To understand the nature, you have to go deep inside the jungle, sit there for the hours, and then you would get the true gist of what nature is. The tribal family that I was staying with was always ready to help me out. Often, they would offer their help to go with me into the jungle. But since I had to shoot at my whim and fancy, I would politely refuse them. But I would not have been able to complete my task without their authentic help. And for the 2 years that I stayed with them, they didn't ask for a single thing in return. They would just keep on giving and giving and giving. In any case, I had nothing to give. The other thing I had noticed about the tribal was that they were more liberal and open compared to the urban counterparts who lived in an regimented, traditional born Victorian world of moral and ethics. Tribal women would go with their men to hunt and to work in the fields. Some families I had seen around had a woman having a multiple husbands, while another family had a man with a multiple wives. Their kids got intended yearly into the sex through a system in which the young girls and boys live together at a designated place and learn the art. The children were free to choose their life partners, and the girls could normally become pregnant before the marriage. It was no big deal with them. The women smoked, got drunk, and crushed. It is all boiled down to equality. They enjoy absolute freedom and an independence unseen in the so called modern day generation. Today is my last day in Haster. I should now go to the capital and start preparing for my exhibition. Just half the work is done. I have yet to do the editing, retouching, and framing, which itself would consume a lot of a time. It has been an immense experience so far. I have unlearned the things as much as I have learned about the life. Nature has taught me so much. It had made me the warrior of the jungle. Although my journey will start now, I am happy. Shifting to the capital will be altogether a different experience. All the congestions, pollution, and the noise will come back, like shifting from the heaven to the hell. But there is no option. Things get down in the capital. I thank all my tribal friends and they wished me a good luck too. I said I would come back if possible. The kind of a bond I shared with them was unique. There was no give and take theory working when I was with them. It was all give and give. I have shifted to the capital and found a small basement room on the outskirts. I have joined a studio as an independent assistant photographer and started working towards my first exhibition. It was a full-time job and I was also doing some freelancing. I had to earn money, enough money so that I could survive in this me. Selfish and the clever city where I could trust no one except my instinct. I would work all the day in the studio and late into the night for exhibition. It was a lot of hard work and detailing. Just shooting a photo was not enough. There is needed to be a lot of retouching. Photographers knows this. I believe that I was born for photography, but my dad had overthought. He thought that I was born to fail in whatever task I took in hand. He was right. I failed in a thousands and other things except photography. Dad, you were so right. The basement room where I worked late night into the nights was gashy, but it was all I could afford. I had no bed, no cupboard, nothing. All it has was just a junk thrown by my landlord. I would stink so badly that in the initial days I could not bear the sting at all. But with the time I got used to it. Now, if somebody asked me to live and work next to a gutter, I would do it without complaining. Many people in this country live in such pathetic conditions. No big deal. After 6 months of in contract, hard work, I was finally ready with a set of a 50 tentative photograph and I had saved enough money to finance my own exhibition. Man, I was ready. The dustbin, which you can see, I can see, we can see. In my room is the dustbin, which I have been using for a long, long time. Yes, a very long time. I have formed with the dustbin a very deep bond of understanding and tolerance and patience. He knows my sins because he knows what crap I have that I throw into it. One day I decided to take a different route, a walk on a bay line of the main street. I decided this partially out of curiosity and partially seeking adventure. My stay in the jungle had kindled the habit of walking, walking, and walking. About 100 meters down the lane, I saw some people standing and taking an outside a hall. The hall was beautiful, illuminated with a mix of yellow and white lights. Curiosity got the better on me, and I decided to go inside. It was a large hall and was hosting an art exhibition. I looked closely at the painting. The theme of our exhibition was chaos in the city. It was a realistic portrayal of a city's life and its activity. All that a city has a dirt, filth, beauty, pace, drama, noise, calm. Its portrayal was simple, awesome. I couldn't take my eyes off a painting for their aesthetic aura and ability to touch hearts. The more I looked at them, the more I got curious about the painter. Suddenly, somebody patted my shoulders. I looked back, and it was Shika. After whole 4 years. Shika, you, what are you doing here? I asked, surprised, thrilled, and excited at the same time. Forget about me. What are you doing here? She asked, equally excited. We were so loud, we forgot that they were the people around us. When we saw that they were staring at us, we both burst into laughter. I shifted to the city 6 months back. I'm here to see this exhibition. Now tell me how come you're here? Do you really want to know? She chuckled. Yes, tell me, and tell me fast, I said, getting more and more impatient. It is my exhibition. What? You have made such awesome paintings? I can't believe this. Yes, Raman, it is my first exhibition. I have made them over the last 3 years. Simply amazing. You have proved yourself. Shika was so happy she went quiet. She was unable to find words to express her happy state of mind. All she could do was to stare at me. Hey Shika, we will talk about our life later on. First, show me your exhibition. Shika held my hand and took me towards the first painting. She started explaining. Raman, I love cities. They hustle, bustle, and energy. Citizens have always inspired me, and that is why I decided to shift to the capital. I have been living here from the last couple of years and have loved every corner of its city. And this exhibition is an effort to capture the city life in all its totality. Cities have a kind of a force in them. They make you work harder and harder. See this painting. You can see a man trying to catch a local train. It is a kind of a daily struggle for him, and he knows that, but he doesn't give up. That is what makes him special. He has a get up and got attitude. And this painting, street kids laughing out loud without having anything to eat and wear. Don't they teach us to be cheerful always? City life is all about passion, and I have tried to show it in my paintings. That positive with different perspectives, I'm glad that you have managed to exhibit your work. Thank you. By the way, have you eaten something? You seem so hungry. Come, there is a snack over there. Take some coffee over there and relax. We will be going to the art cottage in the evening. The exhibition will end in 2 hours. I walked toward the snacks and the coffee table. Later that evening, we are at the art cottage. Looking around, I saw that it was a place where the art and the culture community gathered, everyone from the painters to writers, photographers, singers, musicians, sculptors, you name it, and they have were here. I was placed where the artist could be truly artist. Also, the art cottage offered a wonderful ambience to be the beginner artist. There was something in the air which inspired. I had started feeling it. So tell me, Raman, how come you are in the city? She asked. Well, Siksha, I was in the forest for the last 2 years to create a photo documentary on nature. I was there with the tribals shooting the nature in all its myriad form. What when I was done with my shoot, I decided to shift to the capital as it gives you the maximum exposure and opportunity. I have been here for the last 6 months planning to exhibit my work. Oh, really? That is interesting. So, when will I get the opportunity to see your collections? She asked, with eagerness quite visible on her face. Okay, we will go to my room tomorrow and I will show you. Okay, and how did you find this city? It is indeed a fantastic city, though I haven't seen it as much as you have. But whatever I have seen, it is brimming with uncontrollable energy. I have started to love this place, but mind you, it can't beat Falka. Oh, yes, Falka is Falka. Just like Raman is Raman, and nobody can replace him, she said with a loud burst of laughter. I too laughed to my heart content. I was damn happy meeting Shika. Shika, I said, bringing seriousness back to my face. Yes, Raman, she replied. You have changed a lot. I mean, changed for the better. Yes, you are right. The city has changed me. You have become more confident, smart, and mature. You are no more than the same old. Confused and intro over it, Shika. It is a positive change. I am happy to see you this way. Oh, thanks. By the way, where have you been staying? I'm staying in the old city, in the basement room. I will show you my room tomorrow. As I said, it is so dirty. Today I will clean it up and get it ready so you can visit tomorrow. Come on, even if you don't clean it, it is fine with me. I'm not your guest, I'm your friend. And that's too, an old one, she said, grinning. But I want to see you, my room, clean and organized, because the first impression is the last impression. And I would like to impress you, I winkled. So, Shika, tell me something about your journey so far. How have you reached this place? Just today in the exhibition, when I was browsing through the newspaper, I saw your name over all. Criticism have written positive reviews about your work. Mr. Ghosh has inaugurated this event. You must be on the cloud nine. You have made it. It is mission accomplished for you. Array, not like that. I am the same old girl. Call me the girl next door. All credits goes to my guru, Mr. Ghosh. He polished my arts and supported me all the way. It is because of him that this exhibition has seen the light of the day. He had done so much for me, and I told him, Sir, it is only you who deserve to inaugurate it. He agreed, and hence the exhibition. Mr. Ghosh is the man behind my success. He is such a famous painter in our country. The fact that he had chosen to train you in the first place was itself an achievement. And then the another achievement followed. I'm very happy for you. Thanks. Anyway, tell me about your journey in your own words. Well, it is a long story. I will tell you in my room. It is late and I have to leave from home now. I have to cook for my own. I will see you tomorrow. What is your address? It is behind the lamppost, Krishna Temple, street number 5. Quite close. See you tomorrow. Bye. She ran out as fast as she could. Signed an auto to stop and went away. I decided to sit for some more time and observe the surrounding. Art Cottage had made me a place in my heart by now. I saw the artist neck deep into her work, unaware about their surroundings. Singers were singing, painters were painting, sculptors were sculpting. There was so much noise, yet no disturbances. That was a kind of an atmosphere Art Cottage offered. I have started feeling in the love with the capital. Suddenly, the thought of Rana struck me. Where could he be and what would be he doing? I was missing him badly. Our gang was incomplete without him. Maybe Shika knew. I would ask her the next day. Hey Raman, what's up? Good morning, Shika. Everything is fine? You tell. Everything is fine. I think I have come early. No, no, not at all. It is my mistake. I am in the habit of getting up late. Why so? Because I work at late at night, sometimes the whole night. Preparing for your first exhibition? She asked, quite amazed. Yeah, that is fantastic. I'm happy. By the way, Shika, do you know where about what is about Rana? No. I was wondering where he could be. I am missing him, our old buddy. Me too. We will find him. Let us plan our exhibition first. Okay. Have you had your tea? Not yet. Chalo, I will prepare a tea for you today. Oh, come on. I don't have anything to either prepare tea or cook food. I do it all in the restaurant and a tea stall. Really? Yeah, you have to come to the home of a beggar. I said with a wink. Haha, come on. You are the same old Raman, cracking the joke all the time. By the way, what happened to your girlfriend who gifted you the DSLR? She broke up with me the day I told her I would be leaving for my journey. I promised her once I came back I would marry her, but she was not willing to wait. That is so unfortunate. She told me there was too much pressure on her at home and that she had to marry within 6 months. Her father was not ready to wait, and her mother was strictly against the intercaste marriages. She succumbed to their demands. Hmm, leave it. You tell me about your journey so far. I am all ears. It is such a small room, there was no place to sit except on the small mat on which I would sleep. Before sitting on my mat, she would look around my room. I was stingy, it was dirty, it was untidy. She had come before I had to do the change to clean it. She sighed. Her expression told me that she was not comfortable in my basement room. But I have to live only here, as if she wanted to meet me in my room. This was the one. She sat on the mat beside me and started recounting the story. Raman, when I come here a couple of years back, I wasn't sure about anything, not even myself. New place, new people, new atmosphere. In the beginning, everything seems difficult. Though my room was good, there was nobody in the city I could call my own. Besides, it is a big city. I have no idea about its way. No emotional support, no security, no money, nothing. I was completely dependent on Mr. Ghosh and family. Initially, I was so reserved, and the aura of Mr. Ghosh and family. Initially, I was so reserved. Mr. Ghosh was so huge. I was scared to even utter a word in front of him. All I did was followed his instruction. I knew that his advice would be the best for me. So I just followed. I also assisted Mr. Ghosh on his paintings, like mixing of colors and other little tasks. So he would pay me some money and I could survive. That was enough for me. My days were cooking, painting, and sleeping. That is what I have been doing for the last 3 years. Whenever I got bored, I went out of a room and roamed around the city. Gradually, I started liking the city and I started observing it more and more. The more I observed, the more there was left to be observed. So one day it struck me, why not to paint the city? This is how the exhibition came about. During those 3 years, my parents asked me several times to come back. They believed that I was wasting my days here. My dad would say, Beta, don't waste your precious years of your life. Are you really? Are you there really for painting or you want to have a freedom? Why are you fooling us? Come back. There was a mandatory proposal for you, but my mom understood things better. She somehow knew that I could make it. When my dad got too pussy, I stopped talking to him at all. But he called me yesterday and wanted to congratulate me on my exhibition. I talked to him. He was in the better mood yesterday. So after learning the finer points of the painting under Mr. Ghosh, I developed the confidence to exhibit my own paintings. Four paintings were sold yesterday. It has boosted my confidence even more. But these 3 years have taught me a lot. How to take a pen in your stride, how to stay patient and focused, how to motivate yourself, how to tackle problems, how to suffer with a smile on your face, what to accept and what to ignore. It was a lesson in the life. What I observed was that as soon as I started getting mature, my painting also started gaining depth. It means that the art is an extension of ourselves. What do you think? You are right. To put it correctly, it works as a mirror and shows us our real self. Correct. By the way, you did not ever feel like going back. I feel it is very single day. I miss my father, you and Rana. I am a girl. We were emotional and sentimental beings, but I was determined. I remembered our pledge. Shika, you have shown immense courage. I'm proud of you. Thank you, Raman. Now tell me about your journey. I was in the jungle of Hastur for about 2 years and captured flora and fauna in the most primitive form. I have lived with the tribal there and roamed around in the jungle. It was an awesome experience for me. The jungle of Hastur have made me a warrior. I was damn thought of for me to survive, but I was unwearying in my mission. Besides, I had my pledge in my mind too. That was an amazing experience. I'm a man of a few words. This is all I can explain. I bet you had gone through much more than you have been able to explain. I just smiled. Hey Raman, when are you going to show your photographs? Right now. I opened my second hand laptop and the folder which contained some 2000 pictures, all from the jungle of Hastur. I started the slideshow and put the laptop in front of her. Being a painter herself, she could also understand the basic of good visuals like composition, lines, patterns, lights, color tones, hue, expose, etc. This was really going to help me. She did not utter a single word while watching the slide, shows which she went on for almost an hour. While she was watching it silently, I brought tea for both of us. Oh my god, Raman, these pictures are simply amazing. So stunning. I could not even take my eyes off them or utter a word. My god, how did you manage to click all these? I did not even realize when you went out and bought the tea. I am stunned. I am in utter surprise. I have never seen the nature in such a form. Beautiful, gorgeous, stunning. No, no, words not suffice. It's something beyond this world. How did you manage to shoot these? Wow. Thank you, Shika. Raman, the words deserves to see them. We must plan for our exhibition. I will be with you all the way. Tell me, how can I help you? Well, help me to select the best 50 from these 2000 photos. We cannot showcases all the photos in one exhibition. It will be difficult task because they all are good, she said, with a look of a disappointment on her face. Still we have to do it, I said, a matter of faculty. Hmm, what would you name your exhibition? Nature, my beloved. Wow, that was such a wonderful name that has been in my mind from the day I started thinking about the nature photography. Super. You can have an exhibition at the same place where I had mine. It is one of the most popular art galleries here, developed specifically to promote visual arts. For the next 2 months, Shika came regularly to my place almost daily. She would come and sit with me. Most of the time, she would bring something to eat and drink. For hours, we would discuss the finer points of visual arts like composition, exposures, color, theory, lines, and patterns. What I found interesting was that her art helped in a way, one way or the other. For example, she was good with the colors, shading, shadows, husk, tint, etc. So it helped me in understanding the details of a visual arts better. While my art helped her in one sense too, for example, I was good with the composition, framing, subject, placing, uses of technology in enhancing the art, etc. Eventually, we found that both the art forms complemented each other. When I retouched the photographs, her strong grasp over coloring assisted me to no limits. Eventually, we found that both the art forms complemented each other. When I retouched the photographs, her strong grasp over colored assisted me to no limit. That was a huge advantage. She would sit for the hours on end and help me with all the post processing work. We had a long discussion over whether to pick a single photograph or not. Sometimes she would pick a photos and insist on a short listing it. But I would not agree. Being a stubborn girl, she would push me hard and I have to give in. Sometimes we would fight over some editing parts. She would say that it should be done this way, and I would say that the way. I found that it was she really believed that something had to be done this or that way. She would fight to the end for it. That's the kind of personality she had. I had to handle her with lots of intact. She was damn straightforward, somehow like Rana, while I was cool guy who won with a cool arguments. When we finalized the 50 photos, I realized that those were indeed the finest one. All the hard works, fights, fatigue, late nights, early mornings, silent arguments, discussions, these photographs were indeed the chosen one, where two minds have applied their skills, not one. We ran a slideshow of these photographs. She watched it quietly and commented in the end. Superb. That was her statement when she found something perfect. The rest of the task has been done by her. The photos were framed beautifully in the tea coat. She made all the payments, took Mr. Ghosh's opinion on the photographs, got invitation printed, booked the hall for 3 days, arranged for the snacks and coffee. Shika didn't let me do a single thing. She was more than happy doing everything herself. When I asked her why she did so, she replied, "You are new to the city. I have been here for 3 years. I have a context and the experience of the exhibition, my own work. I know the art scene here, so I can do it better." Why was she doing so much for me? There was something more to it that what they met the eyes. Time would tell. Mr. Ray was the chief guest of my exhibition. He was the number one photographer of the country. How he agreed to inaugurate a beginning exhibition, only Shikas knew. Mr. Ray told me that my photographs had sensitivity and techniques. All I needed to do was to practice harder. He wanted me never to leave the nature photography and believe that with a constant polish, I could work wonder. During the inauguration, I told the audience that I came into the nature photography just for the love of nature. It has always inspired me and uplifted my mood. Nature is a very beautiful. All we need to do is to develop our eyes and see it in all its glory. When I was a kid, whenever I saw a beautiful flower or a landscape, I would stand there for hours and stare at it. What I liked most was when the snow capped white mountains of Falka, my hometown, mixed with the white clouds. I remember once I watched this scene for 12 hours. Such was the influence of the nature over me. It has always overwhelmed me by its subtle beauty. But when I see the human polluted the nature and out to kill the beauties that inherits in them, I feel disappointment and hopeless. What are they going to get out of it? Money. Okay, there are many more ways to earn money. Leave nature alone.